It is just horrendous, repulsive, preposterous, isn't it? The idea that one can once more be intimate with a long ago dead and buried spouse. Well, as much as this is physically impossible, it happens a lot more in the spiritual world than we would all really care to admit. What about the embarrassment, the shame, the impropriety of it all? Yet, our ancestors have always known and inherently passed this knowledge down to us so that when it does happen, we are not caught off guard. In fact, we are prepared to anticipate it. Sounds heretical, doesn't it? Well, then journey with us to the very end. Welcome to Invisible Dimensions, where we share our mystical, paranormal, and supernatural encounters. They all sat in the living room, the atmosphere full. It was about 8 in the morning. The rays of the sun shone in through the large windows, with birds chirping continuously outside. Claire had just buried her husband about a week earlier. She was devastated. Her children were still young. She didn't know what she was going to do moving forward. Her aunts, Teresa and Maria, had remained behind after everyone else left immediately after the burial. In the old days, close relatives would be expected to hang around for at least 40 more days, offering support and comfort. But due to urbanization and westernization, everyone always left almost immediately after interment. Auntie Teresa and Maria had only remained behind because, one, they were not employed anywhere, two, because they were a bit elderly and didn't have any young dependents back in their homes. But most importantly, they both had lost their husbands young. In their culture, whenever someone lost a spouse, they could only be taken care of by another individual who had already lost their spouse in the past, at least until the mourning period was over. Teresa and Maria, therefore, in this case, already having gone through the same experience as Claire was now going through, were best qualified to comfort, encourage, and nurture her. Claire's mom was present too. She felt Claire's pain more intensely than any other person. She would stay much longer after all the other people had left. Having been with Claire for over 3 weeks now, that is from the time the call came that Claire's husband was no more, to the funeral planning processes, to the funds raising, to the actual burial, and through all the other rituals and rites that Claire had to undergo. Auntie Teresa and Maria decided that the day had now come when they needed to go back to their own homes. Even if one has minimum responsibilities, being away from one's home for a whole 3 weeks was draining. Claire was sad to let them go, but she had no otherwise. She was just grateful that her mom was staying behind for a bit longer. My mother, Auntie Maria addressed Claire somberly, cuddling a mug of tea in her hands. It is time for us to leave. But first, besides all the other things we have taught you, all the rituals and rites you have gone through, there's one more thing we have to prepare you for. I am all ears, Claire said attentively. It seemed this was all she ever did nowadays since her husband died, listening. Good, Auntie Teresa said, moving closer to Claire. They were sitting together on the same couch, looking intently into Claire's eyes. She continued, Now, listen very carefully. This is very important. What is it? Claire asked, apprehensive. She could sense from the other three present women's demeanors that whatever they needed to say was critical. You cannot be intimate with any other person until your late husband brings you dreams. Auntie Maria blurted nervously. What do you mean? Until he brings me dreams? Claire asked, curiously, confused. Do you mean I will have to dream about him? Yes, Auntie Teresa responded nervously. You will have to dream about him. Claire was now even more confused. Auntie, I have no control over the dreams I have. Dreams come to me. I have no power to choose what or who to dream about, Claire said, amused. Claire was now even more confused. Auntie, I have no control over the dreams I have. Dreams come to me. I have no power to choose what or whom to dream about, Claire said, amused. Exactly. That is what we are saying. Auntie Maria cut in vaguely. You will have to wait until your husband comes to you, however long it takes. So, considering that we humans dream countless times, how will I know that this dream is the one I am waiting for when my husband comes to me? Claire asked, skeptical. Is there a specific message he will be coming to pass across that I have to look out for? Yes, Auntie Maria responded guardedly. He will be coming to free you. He will have intercourse with you, just as though he was still alive. When that happens, from that day henceforth, you will now be free to move on and be intimate again with whomever you choose. But before that happens, don't dare be intimate with anyone else. Claire, forgetting that she was mourning, laughed so hard that the tea in her cup spilled. With tears in her eyes, she looked at their faces, wiping the spilled tea with a paper towel. Tell me this is a joke, she said incredulously, her frame still racking with laughter. You guys are joking, right? To her amazement, none of the three women laughed with her. They were all looking at her reproachfully, allowing her ample time to stop laughing. Seeing just how serious they all looked, she quickly stopped, the laughter catching in her throat. Don't tell me you are serious, are you? Claire asked, perplexed, astounded. Are you saying I have to be intimate with a ghost? Unfortunately, yes, Auntie Maria affirmed wryly. This is the way it has been since time immemorial. Auntie, surely not to this date. Things must have changed in this time and era, Claire said dismissively, exasperated. She was bitter. Here she was, still reeling from her husband's death, angry that he had died, miserable because she'd been left to pick up the pieces alone, and as if that was not enough, she had to look forward to being intimate with a ghost, failure to which she couldn't be with anyone else moving forward. You could be right, Auntie Maria continued reassuringly. A lot has changed these days. Unlike our time, people are now more educated and modernized. But it is paramount that you prepare you. Just in case it happens, you should not be caught unaware. I'm not saying that I want him to come, Claire said anxiously. But what if he never comes? Does it mean I can never be intimate again? He will come. He must come. Both Auntie Maria and Teresa said at the same time with the certainty. It is just a must that he comes. So as not to be seen to be disrespectful, Claire tried hard not to laugh and showed her aunties that she understood them very well, that they were on the same page. So how will I know that it is him and not just any other spirit out there? Claire asked, flustered. Trust us, you will know. How can someone not know her husband? Auntie Teresa said confidently. There will be no room for doubt. The day he comes, you will know it is him. But Auntie, Claire persisted petulantly. You know I am a Christian. Surely such like a thing cannot happen to me. But all of us here are Christians, are we not? Auntie Teresa said with disdain, looking around for support from the other women. Every one of us here is Christian. It happened to me when I lost my husband. It happened to my sister Maria here. It has happened to many other women out there, Christians or not. This is one of those supernatural encounters that is hard to explain. One other thing, Auntie Maria jumped in with sudden urgency. He can only come to you once. The whole encounter can only happen to you once in your lifetime. After that, he should never ever come into you again. In case he brings you dreams more than once, then you must be worried. You will need to seek help, because then you'll be dealing with a different entity and not your husband. All this while, Claire's mother said little. Having never lost a husband, she didn't know whether the issue of a late spouse bringing you dreams was true or just a myth. After breakfast, Auntie Maria and Teresa both left, having packed their bags the previous night. Claire was very grateful. She had really gained a lot of insights from them over the period they had been around, but being intimate with a ghost is where she drew the line. Then one night, out of nowhere, her husband came with no warning, no signs, no prior communication, just nothing. The thing she feared most happened. He appeared just like the ghost he was. It was about 7 months after his burial. Claire had totally forgotten the talk she'd had with her aunts, Maria and Teresa. She disregarded their warning that her husband would come into her one more time as one of those tales told by bored housewives, as mere gossip, as folklore. In those 7 months, she had neither dreamt about him nor seen him. So, on this night, Claire, the house girl, and her 2 children had dinner routinely at 8 p.m. By 10 o'clock, they were all asleep. The kids would wake up early to go to school. That's why they slept early. They all slept into the living room because all the 5 of them couldn't fit in one of the bedrooms. It was about 1 in the morning when Claire suddenly awoke to some strong presence around her. She could see no one. She only felt. They didn't sleep in total darkness. The security lights outside somehow partially lit up the living room in which they slept. Yet, she saw no one. In that instant, as she was trying to look around, she felt overwhelmingly drowsy, as if drugged. She was well aware of her surroundings and the presence of the unnatural entity, yet she couldn't move a muscle. She felt pinned where she slept. She wanted to wake up her house girl, but her mouth remained dry, no sound coming from it. She lay there, helpless, shaken. It was when the entity went into her that she immediately knew, without any doubt, that it was her husband. He was unmistakable, though he uttered no single word all that while. It was in the way he touched her. That's how she knew it was him. It could not be anyone else. Even knowing it was him, her deceased husband, Claire struggled to stop him. She still didn't want it. It felt strange, unpleasant, and unconsensual. She felt like she had no say in it, like it was forced, and she hated it, the whole encounter. What overwhelmed her, though, was the shock. She was so astounded that the borders between the supernatural and reality blurred. Later, when the dark presence had left and she was mobile again, Claire lay there, unmoving, confused, angry for being used, and shaken to the core. She was afraid that the entity would somehow come back, and she didn't want that. She didn't sleep a wink for the remainder of that night. She felt too ashamed to share this encounter with anyone else. How could she even start? She never called her aunties Maria and Teresa to let them know that their prediction had actually come to pass. She would not give them the satisfaction of knowing that they had been right all along. Some months passed before Claire confided in her house help about the whole bizarre encounter, but warned her not to tell anyone else. She didn't want to be derided and her decorum termed improper. She sometimes liked to console herself that she was only hallucinating. But deep down, she cannot deny that what happened was surreal and as clear as day. She felt too ashamed to share this encounter with anyone else. How could she even start? She never called her aunties Maria and Teresa to let them know that their prediction had actually come to pass. She would not give them the satisfaction of knowing that they had been right after all. Some months passed before Claire confided in her household about the whole bizarre encounter, but warned her not to tell anyone else. She didn't want to be derided and her decorum termed improper. She sometimes liked to console herself that she was only hallucinating, but deep down, she cannot deny that what happened was surreal and as clear as day. Despicable, spooky, right? Being intimate with a long deceased spouse. In our culture, we euphemistically call it being brought dreams. Instead of just calling it by its rightful name, we hide the shame by making it sound polite. It is easier to admit you had a sexual dream than just outrightly admitting you had intercourse with a ghost or a spirit. Ask around. Are there people you know whose spouses ever brought them dreams? Intimacy with spirits has been there for a very long time. Although it is not right, it happens more often and nearly to all of us, just that it is shameful to admit publicly. If you have ever experienced such or even heard of such stories, please share with us in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share to help our channel grow.